Cooper?
Here.
Ann?
Here.
Tammy?
Here.
Corey?
Here.
And Steve's here. We all please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I brought the water ordinances that I think that I would like to go over, maybe creating a ordinance, not tonight, but I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Where can we add that in?
Just add that as agenda item number 3.
Number 3.
I will add that in for you online. Tammy, was that a formal motion?
Oh, yeah, yes, that was a motion. I'll second it, Emily.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous?
Mr. Chair, I also have an addition for you. I had another applicant under the consent agenda. I have an applicant for the Conservation Commission that I would like to add to the name for you folks tonight.
Okay.
So that'll be number 3 under number 7. 7 would be consent agenda. Under number 1, number 3 will be adding Andrew Mace to a name for the Conservation Commission.
As an associate member?
Right, because it's
Yeah.
full, correct? Correct, as an associate member. And I will.
You said conservation, right?
Conservation Commission, yep, and I'll duly note that in the minutes. And then, Mr. Chair, I also have an addition. The Conservation Commission is actually here tonight to discuss their thoughts on the Fernal Field lease. And I apologize, I had that in my first rendition of the agenda, and I omitted it by uploading the wrong copy. So the Conservation Commission is here tonight just to provide comments to you folks on your ongoing work for the Fernal Field lease.
Okay.
And that would be under number 4 under agenda items, which is number 10.
So add that to number 10.
That would be number 4. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And what was that again? The,
Be the Conservation Commission's thoughts on the Fernal Field lease.
Recommendations.
Recommendations, sure.
Yeah.
any more discussion on or approve the agenda? All those in favor of approval? Unanimous? Reports, town manager's report.
Yes. So just recapping the month of July for you folks. Taxes were committed. We're working on processing tax bills and getting those out to residents as quickly as possible. I have being the bearer of bad news that our mill rate has increased. I went ahead and worked with the Board of Assessors to draft a letter that's going to go out with tax bills to try to explain to our citizens why taxes are going to increase this year. Our current mill rate was 13.3. It's increasing to 16. And that's large in part to the major increase for RSU 22. So that went to the Board of Assessors, and they approved the letter. So there'll be a letter that's being drafted to try to explain to everybody. Trying to get ahead of it. We know it's brutal, but we want to be transparent and forthcoming with why. So roadside mowing's been done. The Public Works Department's also been spending quite a bit of time on the roads that we're getting ready to pave. I believe they're going to start paving here in the 3rd week of August. So we're trying to wrap up any final projects on the roads that are going to be paved this year. There was a pretty significant amount of mulching that's been completed on the Monroe Road, the Clark Road, the intersection at Schoolhouse. We've done several culverts. Monroe Road, Hackett Road, Rabbit Hill. It probably will be on next month's report, but they did just wrap up the one at the intersection of Schoolhouse. A significant amount of ditching has been done as well. If you've noticed, right on Stream Road, I was having them keep track of how many loads they were taking, and they took out 80 loads, dump truck, our small dump truck, but our small, just out of the first section on the right-hand side. They've since traveled up, but just to show you the amount of, it's all sand. It's basically winter sand that's accumulated over years and years and years and years and years. And the shoulder was actually in places 3 or 4 feet higher than the road. So they've done a really nice job there. So I just want to show our appreciation for the Public Works getting that ready. In July, we finished the leach field at the transfer station, so that's all completed. We do have an open code enforcement officer position right now. I've spoken with the new town manager in Stockton as well as the town manager in Searsport. We're still hopeful that we can find more long-term solutions so we stop having the turnover in all the smaller towns and start sharing assets to try to save all the towns some money around here. So we're working on that. I'm hoping that that can get completed sooner rather than later. Our old code enforcement officer, Dylan, is still hanging on for us, and our assessing agent, Travis, is helping out where we can. So we're not going to fall behind, so to speak, but it's certainly, there's no proactive work being done right now. And then finally, we've been putting in a pretty significant amount on tax acquired properties. We're trying to get offload the ones that we've had on the books for years. The new changes with the statute has really thrown a lot of wrinkles into this. Now we're having to utilize a realtor, as some may know, and we also are having to go back and pull all of our files to prove that we sent notices. Where in the old way, we would just have the council either put it out to bid or what have you. So it's certainly a lot more time consuming. It's a lot more manpower driven. The clerks and the deputy clerks are doing a good job pulling all the records. Some of these go back 10 or 11 years. So it's been a lot of work going through all the old files, but they're doing a good job with it, and it's a work in progress. We're still waiting on, we have some tax acquired trailers in the town, our mobile homes that individuals have owned, but they have not owned the land. That is currently with Rudman Wenchel. We received an opinion from the Maine Municipal Association, basically asking us to seek a legal opinion from our town attorney. We've done that. I did receive a little bit from our one of the attorneys at Rudman and Wenchel yesterday that they seem to think it might be personal property for mobile homes, and it could change the statute or the way that we deal with it according to the statute. So as of right now, I don't have an answer for that, but it's something that we're working on, and I'm going to report out on as soon as I can. Because obviously we have some people in this town that want to get the mobile homes removed, and so they can continue to remain profitable and do what they want with their land. So I understand that, and I'm working as diligently as possible to try to address it. So, but other than that, that's all I have to report for the month of July. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Committee reports.
This is, you're on deck, yeah, for the recommendation from,
Thank you, council, for your time. My name's Kelsey Sullivan. I'm a resident of Winterport. I've been on the Sunken Bridge Road for 18 years, but you've probably never seen me. I've been on the Conservation Commission since 2022. And this is new to me, so when there's a reference to committee reports, I'm speaking specifically to a piece of property, Lower Oak Point. So I don't know if that's, I didn't realize that I am on for committee reports. I don't know if you want to hear everything we've been doing. I can give you a quick 101 if that's something you'd like to hear, but I'm not sure.
yeah,
Yes, okay.
yeah, just go.
I'll set aside this other topic. So yeah, let's see. So the month, I guess, would be the summary. We've been working on trail clearing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what we've been doing up at the landfill. We're making a new trail down to the marsh stream to where the old access point was for the fishing pool. We're making a larger loop to extend from the landfill down into that fishing hole, which is the access to, those boulders that are marking that access point. You can go straight down to the river, but we're basically extending it another mile. So that's something we've been working on. There's quite a bit that we've been working on.
So Kelsey, if you want to tell them about the inquiry that we have been doing with.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just trying to give you a summary of other things before I get into that. Tomorrow we're meeting as a management plan group. There's 3 of us, Mary Ann, myself, and Marisa Moreau. She's another member. We've been meeting, this will be our 3rd meeting, and we're basically meeting to develop a management plan to hopefully guide sort of the future for the Conservation Commission with the mandate of basically protecting land and promoting access to residents. There's a longer statement that I could read to you, but I don't have it in front of me. So we're working on that. That's something else we've been working on. And then I guess I'll just cut to the chase. This larger topic that we're looking at is looking for the town council to make a motion and hopefully approve us moving forward and working towards acquiring a piece of property on Lower Oak Point Road, 55 Lower Oak Point Road. I don't know if you folks are familiar with that. It's for sale right now. It's a beautiful piece of property. And I'm actually still learning about the boundaries and the actual acreage, but it's listed as 47 acres. And I think currently in the latest tax commitment book that I had access to was 2 different lots, 221 and 219, which total 47. 221, I believe, is 40.3, and then the remainder in 219, it gets us to that 47 acres. But I don't know if folks have been there, but it's an amazing piece of property. It's pretty well forested. The landowners, I think, had intended to build a place to call their home forever, and whatever happened, life changes, but they have infrastructure already in place. There's a gravel road that leads from Lower Oak Point all the way to the bluff that overlooks the river. Well-established gravel, drainage, underground electric. They do have a leach field in, but not septic yet. But so anyway, they were leading up to building this as their basically retirement home, is what I understand. I haven't met the landowners yet myself, but they also put in a network of trails, and bridges over some creeks and things. So Lily Calderwood, who's the chair, introduced us to the idea like about a month ago. So we kind of jumped on it, and so we've been exploring the possibility of our commission or the town of acquiring this piece of property. We all recognize its process, and it's kind of at the beginning stages. We walked the land with John Tennant, who's a realtor with Next Home, and we also have Eric Bell, who's joining us. He's sort of stepping in John's role because of the representation of the land, the seller and the buyer, although we're not the buyer by any means at this point, because we're asking for approval from the council to move forward in trying to acquire it. That's a big topic, right? Or a big statement, trying to acquire 47 acres, but it's listed as $1 million, as intact. They're willing to break it up, but our intention and hope is to make a preserve out of it. So we wouldn't want to see it broken. We want to try to acquire the full piece. And this is all just giving you a heads up as what we've been doing. It's all been conversation. There's no commitments. We're not a client of Next Home. We're basically a potential customer. So everybody's sort of been talking amongst ourselves in a non-binding, non-contract process. But we're at the stage where there's enough interest by the sellers, by the commission. We've also been working with Maine Coast Heritage Trust. I don't know if folks are familiar with that it's a land trust that's funded by a lot of deep pockets, I guess is the best way to put it. They have properties across the state, all up and down the coast, inland and coastal. They just bought a piece of property. It's basically a state-based land trust. They just bought a piece of property on Mount Waldo off the Murray Road. So anyway, I guess the best way to put it is we're hopeful that they can at least serve as an advisory to help us navigate trying to acquire the property. There may be grant opportunities. Somebody may step in tomorrow and say, here's $1 million, pay us back later if you can. There's all kinds of stuff that's moving parts, but trying to summarize a lot that's been going on in the last month. I've been gone 3 weeks, so I'm trying to keep up with it in email. Lily's been involved as well. I'll try to bring this back to shorten things so I can save you some time, but one thing, well, it'll come to me. Anyway, so actually, we're just looking for approval from the town council to continue discussions and exploring the idea of acquiring that property to make a preserve for the town. And basically, that would be public access, both by foot and by boat. You could canoe access, or you could drive to it. And I think it would be a great asset to the town, another piece of conservation property. There's a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot between now and then, but if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Mr. Chairman, before you begin to question, I just would like to say that this presents the community with two opportunities. I don't think that's ever happened for waterfront property. Two, both very different opportunities, both with very different potential resident use, and different funding opportunities. It is an exciting state to be in, as far as I'm concerned, to have two potential properties that we might be able to move forward on in creating some riverfront access for Winterport. That's all I want to say about that. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for him?
Have you looked into what kind of funding? Have you looked into what is available for grants or anything like that?
Yes, yep, so if we go down that road, there's land for Maine future. That's one grant. There's another one through the state of Maine. I think it's the Bureau of Parks and Land. Water access is the grant they call it. So there's 3 different ones. I actually have them written down. I could read them to you, but there's 3 state-based, land for Maine future, and water access, and there's a third one. So
And how much is grants?
they're around $250 each, I think. Land for Maine future, I think it could be more than that, but so we would have to hobble it together. I don't think any one source, and that's where Maine Coast Heritage would come in, because they're versed in that process of purchasing properties through these types of grants. So those are the 3 we looked at. I know there's other ones.
And do they provide the help with writing the grants?
They do. Yep.
And what, do they charge or do they not charge?
They wouldn't charge. No. And we've already met with them 3 different times, and they've acted basically as an advisor. That was my other point, is they're non-binding or commitment to the contract itself, but they've already committed to helping us with writing the grant and sort of helping us navigate how to get the funds. So we've met with them 3 different times, and they're excited to hear the results of tonight, because that would hopefully move us into the next realm, where they may start to access those private funders that could open up that. So, and I can't say that that's something they're going to commit to, but they're waiting to hear.
So if we approve,
Yeah,
is that okay?
Yep.
And if we approve this.
Yep.
What does that mean? Does that tie us into anything?
Nobody's tied into anything yet. Next home, working with John, who was the previous realtor before Eric came to represent a customer, not the seller. The landowner provided us with 2 options. They said, if you can give us 5% down, we'll hold it for 6 months, non-refundable. If there's a contract in place within 6 months, great. If there's not, then you'll lose your money. Or option B, they'll keep it on the market, and we'll continue to talk with you and work with you and hopefully make something work. But they're not obligated to hold it for us at this point. So those are the 2 options. So there's nothing binding at this point. Yep. Just exploratory, continued discussions, and hopefully develop something before somebody comes in and drops $1 million and picks it up without us.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Mary Ann Royal, I'm a member of the commission. Just for a reference for you all, state statute gives Maine Conservation Commissions the authority to, what's the word I want, wish I had it in front of me, to acquire, that's the word I want, to acquire land for conservation purposes with the approval of the town council. So that's why we're here, because we require that in order to be able to just move ahead and begin to submit applications for funding and to explore avenues that we have your approval to do that. Ultimately, it will come back probably, I don't know if you would really be interested at any point in assessing the community's interests, because we have 2 properties that we're moving forward on. Again, both with very different opportunities, and it might be nice to know what the community thinks regarding each of those opportunities before a decision is made. And hopefully one of the funding avenues will provide the opportunity for the town to purchase one of these properties. It's just moving forward to explore that.
So what are you thinking? The best case scenario, if we could get 3 grants, would be 750,000 towards it if we could get all 3?
I think in the real world scenario, if everything went well, we would be able to come up with all of it.
With all,
Yeah, and there's matching options and, yeah, it's just, those are the first 3 that we looked at, so.
right,
And it would be fair market value based on what's there, so, it'd be assessed. We'd have to get it assessed, hopefully. If it came in at 800 and the seller was, I think the conversation would be, because as a conservation commission, we wouldn't be able to pay more than fair market value assessment. So we would be hopeful that whatever the price is in the end, and it's based on fair market and the assessment, that we could achieve it without. That's a great question. And if we came up short, I think there's an option for a bond or something like that. So I don't know. Yeah, that was something we'd have to talk with you about.
right, yep.
And I did want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
Meant to emphasize 3,800 feet of river frontage is what that property includes. So that's pretty key, valuable point. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for him?
Mr. Chair, I would just like to note that you guys are well within your authority to do that, and the only thing that you wouldn't be able to do is obviously part with funding. If it got to the point where it progressed to the point where you would need taxpayers' dollars, it would have to go to either a special town meeting or annual town meeting vote for that. So
We could give them the approval if they wanted to look into grants right now
absolutely.
to look into grants.
Is that a motion?
Huh?
Is that a motion?
No, I just. Sounded as a question.
I'll make a motion that
Could you repeat the motion?
the Conservation Committee can look into
In pursuing of the
in
grants.
pursuit of that.
All those in favor? Unanimous? Thank
Thanks for
you.
your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other committee reports? Moving on, chair report. I have nothing to report at this time. Number 6, read record.
That would be an ordinance. Right?
That
We don't
would
have any.
that would just be the previous meeting minutes if somebody didn't have the opportunity to read them, but
Number 7, consent agenda. Number 1, appointments, resignations of boards, commissions, and committees. Number 1 is Board of Appeals.
You can make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Oh, you can make a motion to accept
Yeah,
that.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Now you can go to number 8, Mr. Chair.
Number 8. Approval of quick claims, discharges, and deeds if required.
None tonight.
Nothing tonight. Number 9, ordinances to consider. Do we have any ordinances to consider tonight?
This is where, and be talking about that?
No, this would be the opportunity after a workshop that you guys have, and then it's a formal public hearing that we could go into and do the formal first reading of an ordinance. So no, you wouldn't have any tonight.
Okay. Number 10, agenda items. Winter sand bid.
Mr. Chair, I'll speak on that, if you would. We received 2 bids. One was from Wardwell Construction and the other was from SJ Clisham. The total bid amounts came into, from SJ Clisham, was $18.99 a yard. And then from Wardwell came in at $14.50 a yard. Just need a motion to accept or decline, just completely up to you guys.
Could you repeat the
Yeah,
process, please?
Bobby, Wardwell Construction and Trucking, who did the sand last winter, came in at $14.50 a yard. And then SJ Clisham came in at $18.99 a yard.
I make a motion that we award it to Wardwell for $14.50 a yard.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Timber harvest bid.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll speak on that too, if you don't mind. We did put this out to bid. We failed to receive any bids.
No bids.
So what I am proposing to the council tonight is to allow me to contact some contractors directly and see if I can't garner some interest and possibly work with the Conservation Commission and Ken Strickland to see, maybe we switched up a little bit rather than just do a kind of an old school bid process, if we can garnish some interest. My thought is if we can get some contractors that would be interested to actually escort them up to the property with Ken Strickland. A little bit less informal, but so that they can actually go see the property and talk to Ken about his plan. And then give them a period of time after that walkthrough, so to speak, to give us a bid, I guess. And then I can, up to you guys, I'm more than happy to just award it, if you guys want, or I can bring it back to a council meeting and we can do it publicly. But it doesn't go against any policies or ordinances that we have to do it either way. So it's whatever the council sees as though is what they would like to do with that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, I have no problem with Mr. Ashe going out and getting any, hopefully some bid work, for it. But I would like to see it brought to the council.
Okay, sure. Any other discussion on the timber harvest?
So then, Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that we allow Mr. Ashe to go out and to try to get some business drummed up for this, and then for him to report back to the council on his findings.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Number 3 was, we have that listed, Tammy, it's groundwater.
Yes.
Talk about groundwater.
It's been in the news more and more that people from other countries are coming in and they're buying up the water. There was an article or a news story about a year ago or something where in Arizona, the Middle East, one of the Middle East countries bought up the land and took all the water and the farmers didn't have any. And there was nothing to stop them from doing it. And then I was reading a couple weeks ago that China bought up some land in New Hampshire and took up their water. And so I think it's time that we get proactive and put some ordinances in, because I would hate to see that happen here. And in this day and age, you can't say it won't. So I think we should be proactive and put some kind of ordinances in place so that somebody, including anybody, landowners, can't come and take our water. I mean, and we also have the minerals, I can't think of the name. The same thing. I think we need to be proactive and keep our stuff for us. So I'm asking that we get together at our next workshop and look into, this is just different things I was looking up about ordinances. And I was thinking that's what we should work on next week. We should start working on this and taking it seriously before we have to.
So you'd like to get that added to our next
I
workshop to
would,
work
I
on?
would, yeah.
Okay.
And then, I think it would be beneficial to have the Conservation Committee in on this as well. So maybe they would have some insight that we don't.
Is there any other discussion?
Table to the 19th?
Table till the 19th.
What's that mean? Hold it. Does that mean?
Yeah, that means when we.
Okay, just making sure.
The Conservation Commission for Fernal Field.
So I have a question for you. How close are you to finalizing that lease?
I think we still have some time before. It's nothing that's ready right now to
Okay.
finalize.
Okay, then I would like to ask you to table this to your next council meeting, so that we can work on clarifying some of the recommendations that we would like to make.
Do you like to be added to the next meeting to
The
discuss
next
it?
agenda, yeah. The September meeting, right?
Well,
Yeah, September, yeah,
Alrighty.
September meeting. Is that okay?
The first one or the workshop?
No, the
Sorry.
first one. We'll be
Okay.
ready with recommendations to present, and that won't be too late.
I don't believe so. Does anybody?
No, because
So that's first of September, and if we do put it out, say, middle of September, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, are we talking about that at our next ordinance meeting or
What's
which
that?
with Fernal Field?
We can add that back on to discuss, but we might want to wait until we get the information back from Mary Ann before we,
I was just wondering what was gonna be up for discussion, for how much work was gonna be brought up for the ordinance. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, we can discuss it even before that discussion, but anyway, I was just asking when that was gonna be coming up.
we can add it to the workshop. We did discuss it last workshop and
Mhm.
then giving them the opportunity to look in to see what they wanted to add, but. Do you want to have more discussion on it?
I think so, yes.
Okay, we can add that to the workshop and discuss
I
it.
think that would be good.
Mary Ann?
So, Mr. Chairman, we can have recommendations ready for the workshop also.
We're not, it's not gonna be anything final, Mary Ann. So all I'm asking for is just have a little bit more of a discussion about it at our since we're already meeting for other ordinances and such. And so we're gonna discuss it and then we'll bring it to the next meeting and then we can, tell you what we've discussed and you can tell us, if you had any other recommendations. So it's not gonna be in stone
Okay.
at our next meeting.
I just don't want to throw something in at the last minute that
It's gonna need
have
to-
more time
Yeah.
to discuss.
Well, it's gonna need to be discussed anyway,
Oh.
so.
All right. Thank you.
The workshops, are they town council specific or is that open for?
Oh,
That's open.
So one of us wanted to attend, that would be okay.
absolutely.
Do you have a date for that one?
The 19th, Marion.
Thank you.
Of August. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Public forum. Chris?
Christopher Heemer from Main Road, Northport. The reason I'm come up tonight is the trailers that are in the trailer park that the town acquired property. They've been sitting there for 18 months. The town has done nothing with them. And the last conversation I had was, well, it could take up to another year. Those are sitting on $400 a month lot rents. When the town acquired those properties, they owned them. I could go back to the date that, but it wasn't. The date that the town acquired them, they would be responsible for the lot rents, but I don't want that. I just want them out of there. And I brought this to the town, and it just keeps getting kicked down the road. So finally, at the advice of an attorney, he told me to file a 10-day notice saying you either move them or you start paying for them. So that's where we're at tonight. And if that doesn't happen, he told me to file an eviction notice. I very well versed in doing eviction notices. I've been doing them for 20 years. So I just need to know what direction the town is gonna go. I mean, I was told that the town had like 20 some odd lots of stuff. I understand that the laws have changed, but here again, we're 18 months into this and nothing's come up. The town has got 3 pieces of property up for sale out of 20 some odd. I get it, it's a process, but here again, you guys ain't mitigating your damages to me. You haven't moved the trailers off the lots that are $400 a month. And it continues to sit there, and I asked way back in March to see about getting this moved so that they would be off for the summer months that I could get people in there. Nobody's gonna go in there in November and December and January and February. So there goes another 6 or 8 months. I don't know what the town is gonna do with these. I've asked for somebody to come up and take a look at them. Nobody's come take a look at them. They're not worth nothing. One place, you got $5,600 in taxes on it, and the place has caught fire twice. The place is completely unlivable, but yet we're still sitting here. Nothing's going forward. I just need to know what the town is going to do.
Well, those are our responsibility, right, Casey? Where we own them as a town, they're sitting on his property. Could we have them where we can't sell them to a certain date, move them to a piece of property of the town's so he can have his lots back to be able to rent out, and then we'll still have the mobile homes to
It is.
sell or whatever.
It is.
But it would take our property off from him and give him his lots back.
See, this isn't something that was just, somebody sitting on a piece of property that they're not using for an income. That's an income.
Right, that's an income, or,
And at 18 months, at $400 a piece, that's over $20,000 that have already lost. And here we are going again for another 6, 8, 10 months. Talking another $10,000, $12,000.
right, it's gonna add up to be a lot of money.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
we can't-
and the things aren't worth nothing. I'm more than willing to give you guys a tour of them, let's put it that way. Not a problem. And if you think they're worth something, have at it, haul them out. Thank you.
I'll address it in the next section.
Is there anyone else for a public forum? Phil?
Phil Foley, Vice President of the Fire and Rescue Association, getting some numbers for our ambulance service for the month of July. So in July, we responded to 50 calls, which is a jumped from 30 calls last year at this time, in the month of July. So for 2025 year-to-date call volume, we're currently, excuse me, at 362 calls, which is an increase from last year in July at 252 calls. In July of this year, the 50 calls we responded to, 24 of them were billable, which breaks down as to 16 were Medicare, 3 were main care, 3 were VA, and 2 commercial insurances. The remaining 26 non-billable calls were primarily lift assists and patient refusals. Looking ahead to the month of August, we currently have all shifts are fully covered with no open shifts expected. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
Mary Ann Doyle. So I would like to address a matter of what's in the public record. And I'm going to use the last workshop as an example. So at the last workshop, you were beginning to explore ideas about the Fernal Field lease. And one of the suggestions was to create a lease that was a year-long lease. And I questioned that and said that I thought those leases were short-term leases. And I was told I was wrong. So I would like to correct the record on that. I have a copy of the lease and the contract extension. The lease for the Fernal Field Dragway Association at that time was signed in 2016. And it was to hold for the period of 28 weeks from the last Sunday of April of each year, yielding and paying therefore rent in the amount of blah, blah. So it was just a 28-week lease. It was not a year-long lease. And so I would just like to formally have it acknowledged that the information at the workshop was incorrect about previous leases. The second thing is a second item that came up was the mention that the money from the leases would be used to reduce taxes. And in fact, that is incorrect because at the 2025 town meeting, the town voted to put all revenues from lease amounts into the Fernal Field Fund, Reserve Fund. So it couldn't be used to reduce taxes. So I'd like that part of the public record corrected too. I know there are no minutes taken at workshops, but they are transmitted. So when people hear things from the council, they're going to take them as a matter of fact, when indeed they aren't a matter of fact. And I would like to really encourage council members, all of you. Corey, you signed the first lease. Steve, you signed the lease, and you signed the lease. So I would encourage all of you, when another member misspeaks, in a sense, thinking they have the right information, but they don't, and you know, that you find a way as a council to kindly correct each other so that the public record is correct. I would even encourage you to think about changing your rules of order to just come up with a way that you can do that, you can correct each other, whether it's in a workshop or in a public meeting when something is misstated. Out of just, no evil intent, but to keep the public record clear. And as we're thinking about what we're doing, I'd like to quote from the recent Maine City and Town Council. A young person at Ellsworth Elementary Middle School concluded a letter. They had won a competition that this organization or this publication put on. And this person, Corey Michaud-Kidder of Ellsworth Elementary Middle School, said this: leading a community is more than just making rules. It's about listening to people, understanding their struggles, working together to find solutions. And he went on to say, I may not have all the answers, but with the help of everyone in the community, I know we can make a real, lasting impact. Together, we can create a space where everyone feels safe, supported, and valued. So, thank you for your attention. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak?
Council members, I'm Vivian Liberty with the Winterport Senior Citizen Group. Thank you for your time today. I would like to ask the council if it's being considered to add to the next workshop or the next meeting a continued discussion on the 501c nonprofit groups, to continue the discussion on the revised policy that you're working on, so a decision can be made. If you have a thought on if it's going to be on the next workshop as a discussion or not, we would appreciate it, so we would know what the decision is and what we can expect. That's all I have to ask.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Joe?
I'd like to bring up the Fernal Field lease, the money from last year. When we was at town meeting, we agreed the money from last year went in the Fernal Field lease. There was nothing that said that was a permanent money that went in the Fernal Field lease. I think if you look that up, you'll find that's what it was. And the amount of money that was put in there for last year's Fernal Field lease, it would take years for the town to use that up, since it costs about $3,000 a year to go in and bush hog that, and it hasn't been bush hogged in 3 or 4 years. So I think you want to look at that because that's untrue about Fernal Field lease money being permanently put into the Fernal Field. That can go back into fund balance.
Thank you, Joe. Marion?
I'm not sure exactly what Joe just said. I didn't quite catch all of it. The Fernal Field Reserve account was first set up, and I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm getting those notes to Casey because I volunteered to look into this because it is such a question. And I'd be happy to make those notes available. I need to do a little bit more research. But it was set up and funded, and the money was used for maintenance of the field. And there was, I think in the beginning, it was set up to explore economic uses of the field, and that changed at some point. I don't know whether by town meeting warrant or any other way. And this was all pre-charter. So all of these decisions were made by boards of selectmen, it hadn't even formed town council yet. So there was a point at which it looked like, and I have to see if I can find the warrant article, that it changed from economic development at Fernal Field to recreational. So I still have work to do on that. And so the money that was put into the Fernal Field account was used for maintenance. That's documented in the selectmen minutes. So certainly maintenance of recreational fields would be kind of an important thing to do. But, so I have more to look into, and I'm happy to share with you whatever I find.
Yeah, thanks, Marion. Anybody else like to speak? Council and town manager's response to the public comment.
Mr. Chair, I do. As I stated in my town manager's report, we have several times looked into legal counsel on how to deal with these. I completely agree with Mr. Hamer. I feel as though the trailers that we have tax acquired are a burden to him and his family and his land. Don't dispute that. I just don't know how to legally deal with them yet. And it's a really bad situation. It's not a win for them. It's not a win for us. That's why I think I've been to 2 or 3 trainings on tax liens and other foreclosures and other things like that. And every training I go to, they say that they absolutely hate dealing with 2 things: mobile homes on somebody else's land and timeshares. So the city of Ellsworth actually owns a crap load of timeshares that they don't know what to do with. So, and then now they're paying maintenance costs to the other timeshare holders. So it's costing their taxpayers money, just like this is costing our taxpayers money. As soon as I get something back from our town attorney, we're gonna act quickly. I will bring up that we don't have it in our budget to hire a contractor to go do that. It's something that we could consider an unanticipated expense and possibly utilize our overlay account for that. But because they're looking at it whether it's a tax acquired property or if it's personal property, and then it could trigger different statutes. As soon as I guess what I'm saying is, as soon as I get a word back, and I'm hoping that it's tomorrow or Thursday, I will let the council know immediately and take swift action, because I want to get that freed up for them. So.
So by the end of the week, we should
I'm hoping.
we should know something,
I'm hoping.
at least.
I can't speak for our town attorney's time frame, but they've been quick on other matters, so.
Is the option still there, Chris, that you offered us before? If we wiped our hands with them, you would take possession and get rid of them? So we wouldn't have to move
I figured
them.
it would be a quicker action for me to take them. than
Exactly,
for the
and it would save
town-
us a lot of money.
To the town to do it, because, by the town gets somebody to do it and this and that, we're talking November, December, and
If
it's
it's,
just,
if it's personal property, I think we could do that,
We can
but
do
if it's real estate property, then our hands are tied by the year long. I don't agree with the law, but we have to list it with a realtor, and it has to remain on the market for a year. It makes no sense. I don't agree with it, but that's why we're getting a legal opinion on that. And if they say that we can do that, Chris will be the first phone call I make, so,
Okay,
yeah.
So if we have to keep them on there for a year, then we'll be responsible to pay lot rent for a year while we try to sell a twice burnt trailer?
Yes, and which makes no sense, right? So the idea is we can subtract any costs that we have associated. So if we're talking about, a trailer that's burnt twice, we have to pay lot rent, but then we would take the lot rent and the cost out of the total proceeds of the sale.
Right.
There's no proceeds to be
There's no
made there.
proceeds.
So it really don't make any sense here. So I think that's a question that an attorney is trying to answer for us right now, and like I said, I hope we get an answer this week and we can move on, because I'm just as tired of it. I'm sure they are. It's crazy.
Right.
So
What if we contacted the previous owners and tell them the situation, say, have like a form saying you waive all your rights to any potential proceeds could we do that and then just?
So that's they would have to sign a deed release is what that is, but, there's no land, so there's no land, right?
Yeah.
So we just had to do that with, 32 Ferry Street, the one that we're looking at there, to try to get them to sign off on the deed release. And we had to do that with the sale at 35 Hackett. So that seems to be a common thing now too with this new way of doing it, is that in order to get title insurance and to have a clean title for a purchaser, the cleanest way is to have that release of deed. And I'm not a realtor, so, but this is just what I understand. And I'm learning every day, so.
I mean, I'm more than happy to chime in. On the realtor side, I'm not a lawyer, but typically, your land is your real estate. A mobile home is considered personal property. A mobile home is not even sold with a deed. It's sold with a bill of sale typically in the state of Maine. So from my point of view, it's truly personal property, has nothing to do with it. I think you could pass it off. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but that's my interpretation as
The
a
issue
real
is,
estate agent.
the issue, Mr. Chair, is a foreclosure, that we foreclosed on something. So that triggers the lien process, the foreclosure process. So I really don't have an answer, and we can have conjecture all night, but until we get a legal opinion, it's not gonna make a difference.
Okay, Ellie?
Steve, I believe that mobile homes usually are recorded under UCC ones.
Yeah.
And they can take the lien on a UCC 3, so they could sign off on one of those. And that would handle that property pertaining to for a mobile home. It's a UCCs,
Okay,
1 and 3.
Mr. Foley, Mr. Hamer, Mary Ann, Joe, and then Mary Ann again, for honestly coming and participating. I think it's meaningful. So I just want to take the time to thank them for doing that.
any other council have any comments? Set public hearings?
Sorry,
Excuse me.
I do have one.
Oh, you
question.
do?
We are gonna have the, are we gonna discuss are you putting the policy on the next workshop as well,
Putting one on it?
the policy? What are we talking about?
Yes, I was scheduled for the right, yeah, next workshop.
Okay, I was just checking.
Any other comments? Set public hearings. Is there any public hearings to set? None at this time. Executive session if needed, not at this time.
Motion adjourned.
Second?
All those in favor?
I know.
You didn't know?
I voted.
Oh.
We knew.